Rocky.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky.
Without you, I remember myself, my name. Forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out.
Take the wrong and you make it right. Like a firefly, you're glowing at night. So don't make it hard, don't let me go. I wanna hold you tight when you're cold. I'm waiting for your love, you just keep me.
There are only a few seconds to close this round. A headshot, nice. Fist bumps go to the teammates.
I wanna hear your go, go, go. Make them feel your smashing blow. Swing around. Rise to fame. Hold the ground.
Pretty much. They play, you win.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our final day of the second stage of the Swiss stage format. The name's here, Sir Danny. I'll be joined here by Trevor as we do have one hell of a banger lined up, and that is, of course, going to be Spirit versus Gambit.
Have a solid and amazing start. I believe a bit shorter of a day, only two matches for us, but should be two very special matches as we have both Spirit and Gambit for the first one for us to start talking about between these two teams.
Yeah, so let's actually, begin with our very first best of three of the day. And the interesting factor is, of course, that yes, this is the Epic League. We have various CIS teams playing here. We, of course, got to see Navi just yesterday, but of course, we also have Gambit in the mix. The number one team in the world trying to get those sweet, sweet RMR points to eventually try to qualify for the Counter-Strike Global Offensive Major. And of course, they have to battle it out against a bunch of various opponents. Not that long ago, they had to go up against the likes of Akuma. Akuma had a very nice and strong showing against Gambit on the very first map of the best of three. But of course, Gambit managed to close things out 2-0 in that best of three encounter. Spirit as well, able to eliminate, or pardon me, not eliminate, but secured the victory against a team by the name of Bank of Pepsi. And so here we are, these two teams battling it off against each other. And of course, there's so many angles we can talk about right now. I mean, we of course have Gambit, the number one team in the world, with their amazing run of form the past few couple of months. Of course, we can also talk about the Gambit of old that was rising through the Counter-Strike rankings, being able to win the various online qualifiers, cups, and whatnot, and now here at the Tier 1, the highest level of Counter-Strike, still performing to an amazing level. Just a few weeks prior, top 2 finish at DreamHack Masters, top 2 finish at ESL Pro League, and of course a pretty big win in IEM Katowice. Whereas their opponents as well, Spirit, you have to look at them, and they themselves have been on the rise, climbing through the rankings, and they themselves are borderline on that top 10. And so, looks like we're going to be jumping into the veto of our best of 3, so this should also be a very interesting veto here, Trevor.
Yeah, it should be quite interesting. Teams have both a slightly similar favor in some of their map selection. There's a touch of overlap, possibly. But most importantly, it's going to be interesting to see what of their later bans end up being, with a Nuke and Vertigo being quite reasonable bans. It'll be an interesting choice, Spirit to ban. So they have to be concerned about Gambit's strengths, Vertigo being one of their best, but still the other one of Mirage is going to come through one of Gambit's comforts. Besides the chaos continuing, should be a likely win for Gambit. Dust 2, an exciting choice and always very crazy, especially considering the team that picks it usually does not guarantee a win. See, Spirit both have a confident win rate on it. Looks like Inferno's being banned out, which means there's Overpass and Train remaining. Take a reasonable guess, it'd be Train being removed. It's being removed from map pool as well very soon, so we can see Overpass as a decider.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have Overpass as our third and final map. I was really hoping to see that we could have potentially seen Train there being the decider map, especially considering that for Spirit, they haven't really played a lot of Train the past 3 months, but it's also important to note that once they did have a chance to play against some of the better opponents in CS, it was victories against Astralis, against G2 on Trade, and I was potentially hoping that this might be able to slip through the veto, or at the very least potentially be our third and final map. But right now, of course, if you talk about those initial first few maps, you can definitely see the teams are just playing into the weaknesses of their opponents. If you're Gambit, you're going to be going for that Mirage pick. That makes so much sense, considering that is the map Spirit don't really play too often. It is a map they have a pretty atrocious win record on. And of course, for Gambit, the past few encounters, I believe they even have a bit of a win streak going on in Mirage currently. I believe it is the 4 times they've actually played it. Those have been wins, so that's pretty sick here for Gambit. Definitely makes a lot of sense to go for that initial pick here of Mirage.
Yeah, I think the important thing to note here is with the comfort on Mirage, it almost ends up feeling lopsided possibly, or at least with the glance at the statistics, as more Dust 2 might seem more of a decider map rather than the actual decider itself of Overpass's stats just collectively overall can reflect towards Spirit's way for Overpass, at least towards the end on the third map. But with the decider of Dust 2 almost and its chaos in between, it'd be important to observe how on this first map, even though feels like it should be an easy win for Gambit here, having reflect, because that second map will be the important decider to see if Spirit can get the opportunity to compete with the third and have a chance to get a win against #1 Gambit.
I mean, in the case of the second map as well, right? That's going to be the pick here from Spirit, and it's a really good map for them. They've also been having a really good run of form on it. I believe the past 3 months, their encounters have really gone primarily in their favor. It is also a map Spirit tends to pick somewhat often, about 35% of the time. So clearly for them to go for the pick of Dust 2 does make a lot of sense, but it doesn't mean that for Gambit, the map of Dust 2 is a poor map. I mean, they themselves have played against some really stiff opposition. I mean, you can also consider the last few times they actually played it, they were losses against Na'Vi. They played against some of the better teams, but that also seems to be the one map a lot of lesser teams or CIS teams tend to pick against a team like Gambit, potentially hoping to punish them. And if you'll take a look at some of their most recent plays again on that map of Dust 2, you'll notice that, yeah, a lot of these tier 2 teams, a lot of these CIS teams tend to pick the map of Dust 2 against a team like Gambit. So clearly, Spirit believe this is the one weakness they can use against a team like Gambit to potentially, yeah, secure that victory, or at least that one win in the best of 3. And of course, we will have Overpass as our third and final map.
Yeah, the one important thing to note going into the series is probably the fact of how good Gambit is with their counterplay, getting educated on their opponents, and being able to go against them. So if they fall apart, possibly, on Mirage and can't keep up the pace, Gambit may be very well prepared for Dust 2 as we go into the pistol. And it looks like a very aggressive take of mid to start us off. Take 3 off mid as Gambit just try to run out through ramp and get the site essentially for free. It's going to be a 5v5 retake. Hobbit trading for SDY. Actually enters. Displaying. And they're trying to retake jungle control and even use it to go through CT at a very dangerous moment. And Enter's going more aggressive, just trying to hold this ticket booth room, assuming someone might be in here. Might not be prepared for mirrors. Hiding in the nest side of the nest room. Mirror's just waiting and biding his time to actually go for this retake until just now, but gets caught from the side. Nafany and Enter's able to take him down. It looks like they're trying to go for the smoke defuse. It's being stuck still, and it's about to go off. No one's... But it looks like just last second, Chopper able to get taken out, and Gambit to get away with the pistol.
Really nice round here for Gambit Esports. Great way to play it as well, in the post plant as well, not even going for any control towards CD spawn. That seems to be a standard play for a lot of teams that take over the A bomb site so rapidly. But in the case of Gambit, they hold their positions far back. Team Spirit, they finally get in a position where they can get that bomb defused. However, Gambit, they have players on multiple angles, they keep on spraying with the Glocks, and they manage to secure that diffuser. Very nice. As for Team Spirit, second round, of course, forced by it is. Gonna see the scout here in the hands of Dexter, of course, the one player we're gonna see playing on the AWP quite often on the side of Team Spirit. That's right now. Bit of a slow round here for Gambit. Not gonna walk out just yet. There's still a smoke grenade in the ramp position, so now it's faded. Now they can begin making their way on the side. Nafany, first man in, doesn't really see any of the players just yet, but if you're Gambit, you're going to be very thorough in your approach. You still have loads of utilities, you can definitely deploy it on the bomb side here. Chopper, just with a dig in hand, trying to deal the damage here. Lonesome Hobbit, Dexter from CT spawn, inflicting the damage on the players. But for Gambit, there we go. The bomb site has been taken over. They still have Hobbit in a very good position in connector, though he could be overwhelmed here by some Young. That's the case. But Gambit, bomb planted. Now they're going to have to hold this one off. I see some aggressive plays coming in, but Axel, great 2 frags here on Dexter and Magix. And I'd say if you're Team Spirit, the round's basically lost.
Things do become a little bit more problematic as it's 2v2, but too much pressure between utility and smoke grenades to be able to stall and space them out, and with that, they're going to feel pressure to end up saving for now. With that being the case, that's a very good setup and clean. See, one beautiful moment was the stalling in the connector to be able to hold them off and hide, even though his position was known the entire time. And it looks like Mirror's even trying to get some bonus cash on the way out, be denied by Shiro. So they go for that 2-0 lead. Won't have much to work with. Dexter with enough cash, be able to invest some pistols, but likely saving for that AWP. So they're going to have to be playing around a hero purchase, but they'll only be just a deagle from SDY compared to full sets of rifles. And even Nafany just going for the Kevlar USP, knowing that they're forced onto a full eco into this round. Looks like the setup will be trying to get some initial mid control in a very default style. Interesting difference, though, is the double palace, in case there's any aggressive risks made towards that position this round.
But yeah, this is the one round you could definitely expect some aggressive plays from Team Spirit. they don't have much to lose here. It is basically the pistol, so you might as well go for some aggressive plays or even a bit of a stack. We can see from Team Spirit's perspective, 4 players on the B bomb site. This could be a common play for some teams. Go for that early aggression towards the apartments and then just pop out the site and get those easy frags. But in the case of Gambit, they're being very careful in their approach. Right about now, we can see Nafani in a great position in ladder room. Doesn't see a single player just yet. Axel begins making his way through the apartments, trying to clear things out. I mean, right now, with Axel being in this position, Nafani in short, they can basically make a fake. And that seems to be the play to make. If you're Gambit Esports, you have the players who are pulling off the fake, the full stack from Team Spirit on the B-bomb side, and the remaining players, they're just gonna go A.
It's a very smart, educated move. Trying to clear out and use a player with the USP on Nafani. Try to get information to see where the first players are seen, and with them seeing 2 towards B, it'd be reasonable to assume it was a stack. That being the case, Axel's left alone top mid, which leaves him a bit exposed. Needs to be careful here with these engagements, as he eventually gets caught out as the pistols engage him 1 by 1, eventually getting taken out by SDY as he finds a second now on to enters. And might have seen the shoulder of one and has that AK to pick up. He can find this duel and win it. Things start to become more problematic. Getting heavy tag damage onto Shiro and even spraying him through triple before Hobbit takes him out. And making a situation that might have been very problematic for Team Spirit to even possibly slide a win. But even without that being the case, getting 3 frags in the round leave a lot of damage to the economy of Gambit Esports going to this first full buy.
I mean, this is a really good round here for Team Spirit. They just have the USPs to work with. What was it? A deagle on the hands of some Da Young. And that's going to be a victory here for Gambit, sure, but an expensive victory at that. So Team Spirit, very nice attempt. But now, of course, gun round it is. Not going to waste any time. It's Dexter on the AWP. Could see the fight here against Shiro, as we do see the 2 players out there in middle. None of them being Dexter on the AWP. It's in fact Mir and some Da Young, and it's Mir with the peak. Great early frag here, and that's going to give Team Spirit the edge.
Looks like the top mid nade got a little bit short, but that amazing self flash from Mir to allow him to get a double now on mid. Fantastic positioning not to get caught out after getting the first, with Dexter just holding the angle in the apartments to get Axel caught out. And Gambit have been picked apart. Still a minute 15 left on the clock, and they're stuck on a 2-on-5. See what else they can do. Have to flawlessly take over this A site somehow, with very little utility. And with Shiro trying to go for the palace clear, it's going to be very difficult for them to even use utility to set up for them to get into the site. Have to just go for some very basic duels. The only good note for them is Dexter still with the only AWP on that B site. So possibly Shiro with the AWP, if you can catch these rifles off quick enough, might allow them an opening to at least get a bomb plant to go into the next following round with.
I mean, you can see this as well. Gambit playing some really slow CS. Very slow paced attempt. Just potentially hoping that someone from Team Spirit could walk into their crosshairs, they would deal some damage, but you can see Team Spirit are playing this one very safe themselves. They know that they've won the round at this point, so all Gambit can do is just save the weapons. And yeah, it's a great start from Team Spirit. We saw that early mid-aggression coming in from Mir. There was also some Da Young potentially in a position to back him up, but that just wasn't necessary. Mir from short manages to find the 2 frags, and that's enough to stall the advancement of the Gambit players. And you also have Dexter chiming in with a kill of his own. And that just stops the round in its entirety. So great little round here from Team Spirit. As for Gambit though, if they want to take some mid-control in the nearby future, they're going to have to be a bit more concise on the effort. They must be very careful against a squad like Team Spirit. That is for certain.
I really like the move they've gone for here, just trying to save those 2 weapons, having the AK and AWP to go into it. They have enough for the other players to collectively get a force of some sorts with those 2 main weapons to play around. And rather than just trying to get a bomb plant to help like support the economy of their teammates, just letting the 2 powerful weapons going out. And Nafani's found a gap with timing through ramp. Doesn't win the engagement, and Chopper's able to find a double now. Axile tries to help out with that entry. Enters is able to find one with that AK, but it's a similar situation. Only 2 players left remaining. Chopper at least taken out at this point, but too much damage done as Dexter's been able to catch one out as well. But this entire time with that fake just hiding towards the B site, Shiro is that op, and he's found the opening all alone. So Axile goes for this full long rotate, and everyone on Team Spirit's hard dedicated towards mid, who's now rotating. Looks like they are aware of the possibility of Axile, but SDY is caught alone. So with that pick, and Shiro already scoped in with the AWP, that means it's now a 2-on-2, being able to take these individual duels, so Magix is able to carefully jump through the window quick enough to be able to get that trade effectively, and get a quick headshot onto Axile as well, swinging from bench. And Team Spirit are able to recover and still win the round, at least with 2 alive. Enough reserve cash from Dexter at least should be able to help toss a weapon around and keep their team well supplied against Gambit, going for a half buy in the next.
I mean, this was a stellar round coming in here from Team Spirit, though initially, from there on out, you can see that Shiro finds the perfect timing to go on the B bomb site and gets that bomb planted. Team Spirit actually makes a full rotation on the A bomb site. Big mistake. Shiro finds the opener, gets that 1 kill on the player pushing from shop, and you're thinking, oh come on, it's Shiro. Surely he can find some more frags, but he gets taken care of. And the problem is as well, the bomb's not even planted there. Teammates, that was a bit of a shame there. Gambit Esports, though, in this round, they're gonna get mopped up. Has to be expected for Team Spirit. This one's a quickie, as they don't even lose a single player. That's gonna be a 3-3 scoreline. Gambit Esports, though, don't worry. Money's not gonna be an issue for them. They're very much back for the reinvestment.
Yeah, able to keep things close and confident enough that they have a decent bit of cash collected on the CT side, as they've ended up 3 for 3. Gambit almost technically on the back foot unless they can get this round to start evening out that economy as well as the scoreline. Looks like we have some default mid presence control. Smoke volley on connector. Nafany pushing through fast. STY quick with the punish, and just smoking top connector from Gambit and forcing STY to give up the position. Magic still focused on this apartment's hold, just waiting for that B contact to possibly come in from Gambit. Meanwhile, it's the mid control that's been successfully gained from Gambit, trying to smoke off Nest. And Shiro trying to hold top con, as that smoke's likely to fade any second now, as his teammates try to cross. They want to find that opening frag to help cause concern. Looks like they're interested in trying to go through from main site. With Magic's focus towards apartments, he has to worry about 2 different angles. Able to get away barely in time, as Magix is able to catch one as well and make it a double to finish off the round. Team Spirit up 4-3 and able to build up even more cash, keeping all 5 alive.
And a nice double up setup here from Team Spirit, doing wonders against a squad like Gambit. Beautiful hold there on the B bomb side, as that's the one area Gambit decide to push, and they get absolutely shut down. Team Spirit looking very good here on the first map of the best of 3. And of course, this is also the map pick here coming in from Gambit, and for Team Spirit, as you'll notice, and we talked about this in the pregame, this is not a good map for them. In the past 3 months, this has been, in fact, a horrid map for them. Fair enough, they've been losing against some tier 1 opposition, but it's also been squads like Forza and Fiend. So right now, we do get to see that players here at Team Spirit holding on to the mid area, as to be expected. They're just facing Gambit, who are just on mere pistols, but I say that though, enters. Great headshot here on Some Die Young. Could see a bit of a boost here at the window. Mirror gets another. But yeah, so far so good here for Team Spirit, sustaining from heavy casualties. As to be expected, this will be a clean round here for Team Spirit.
Yeah, only having one going down and Mirror being able to get the ace, having enough space to pick each one apart by his own lonesome with some slight assistance. But overall, Gambit just having to try to take those individual duels with the pistol, get any openings that they can, not able to find anything to follow off the single frag. With that, they have AWP, full utility, trying to contest. See, most people on Team Spirit now over 10k in cash. been able to build up so much money on this CT side. It'll be important for Gambit to break it, or else Team Spirit might be able to run away with the very strong CT lead to start on this very first map of Mirage. See more mid control going out. Two players stacked up right next to each other in the connector, but looks like they're interested in giving it up once again. Gambit just waiting for enough time to get past and even setting up the run boost here, assuming that there's an engagement made. An interesting hop on top of the top mid box, keeping that momentum to be able to go as far as possible effectively with the jump on the cross. With that, they have two on the underpass as well, fully focused on this mid control. Axile has to worry about an apartment's push, but it's a similar move from Team Spirit, just holding passively on this B site, allowing Magics to just hold that tight angle, waiting for that first contact, go for the pick, and then react and swing from there.
Yeah, Magics are now just holding the angle, waiting for the players, but Axel's gonna be super quick on the peak. Great early frag here for Gambit. They can continue with the push, but Mir holds the line. Finally, Nafani gets in position to get the frag here in Mir. So there's the potential for a bomb plant. Hobbit in a prime position. The two remaining players, they're just gonna get shut down. It's a great one here for Nafani. He gets the frag here and some Die Young and Lonesome Dexter remains, and he's just nowhere near position. Gambit Esports, there we go. Finally coming alive on round number 9. These are the sort of plays you expect from Gambit Esports. The confidence coming in, the timing, everything works out, and it's a really solid round as they're just gonna claim their 4th here on T-side Mirage.
It's a very good move from Gambit there, trying to focus and getting into that mid control within the first minute, but only using it just to get a single lurk player when they go in for that B play, so they can have a flank to counter any rifle possibly playing around that very strong pillar position, or even possibly the opper on site if he was able to get that pick and get away if it wasn't for that excellent wide swing initial contact. With that, still plenty of cash rather on Team Spirit. The buy will come back out. Gambit able to keep up with no compromises, fully engaged. Important to see how they decide to adjust. Unlikely to try to do the same thing twice. Spirit trying to prepare for their adjustment of how to react. And Shiro almost getting that early pick onto Dexter on the cross connector. Wait, Nafani getting mollied. Make him take a little bit of damage trying to get that top mid position. But it will be enough for it to be obtained over. Dexter's just focused with small gap on connector. And they have 3 players positioned. Looks like SDY might be just rotating to this B bomb site. Playing focused on rotation, and this might be a counterplay almost. Team Spirit are now quickly adjusting this A site. Chopper able to find contact, and that's bombed down. His rotations are about to start to come in way faster. Dexter has to hold in Palace from above. This Hobbit's found the first Chopper in dark. Tetra's been lost. CT smoked off. Dexter trying to go above ticket to find that pick. Even willing to try to go for this re-engagement after spending a second. Mir's been able to find Nafani on the side. Smith's held off. And Hobbit's pre-firing above that ticket boost. Sure, the position's controlled. Hobbit realizes the danger of this gap in connector. Able to find one, even though he holds the angle. Not able to win the duel, and Shiro's left in a 1v3.
Oh, and he gives away the sound cue as well. Mir prime position, gets the frag at Shiro, wins the round for Team Spirit. And here we actually saw Gambit doing a bit of a fake towards middle, just showing off some utility presence, but not really committing in that area of the map. Instead, they put all their focus on the A bombs, and as they begin their push, Team Spirit though do a tremendous job at slowing down the advancement. We even saw one of the players from Gambit in the form of Nafani trying to go for a bit of a flank, but Mir has been the thorn in the side of Gambit. He's been playing so good there in short, once again securing the frag and shutting down the flank position. And from there on out, the 2 remaining players, Hobbit and Shiro, have such a difficult task ahead of them to try and win a round like that. This time though, no fakes, actual mid control here from Gambit. Nafani just firing off his shots, and we do get to see Mir backing away from short. So this time Team Spirit won't even contest middle.
It's a good move to make sure to flash the opper off the connector angle of Dexter, not give him that opportunity to take an initial pick from mid. Looks like we're seeing a mid take onto A, single palace lurk. Dexter's been able to find that early pick even though completely flashed. And Chopper's obtained that ramp control, which is causing a bit of a problem. And SDY pushing through the jungle smoke, catching everyone in Gambit unprepared. As SDY finds 2. And all of Gambit is wiped out. Team Spirit seem fully in control of the CT side and taking some uncanny risks that Gambit are unprepared for. Forcing a timeout to figure out their next move to adjust. Certainly want a few more rounds than 4 on this T side to start the first map.
I mean, that's for sure. And right now, taking the timeout is the obvious play here for Gambit, because Team Spirit has been doing a great job on the defense. Obviously, you have some standout players like Mir holding from short, causing a lot of damage on the Gambit advancement, but it's also the other players chiming in. SDY gets the perfect timing on the Gambit advance, pushes through the smoke, looks towards his right hand side, and gets himself 2. Shuts down the push from Gambit at any potential attempt at a win. So yeah, you're right about it as well. Right now, Gambit with just the 4 rounds on T-Side and Mirage, this is not a good scoreline for them. Considering this is also the #1 team in the world, you should be expecting an easy victory against Team Spirit. You'll notice that Gambit's struggling against Team Spirit, and well, Gambit are now struggling for cash. Back on the pistols here as they're deploying the grenades here over the A bomb site. Standard smoke grenades, but now there's one missing on the stairs, so some Young very easily just go for the peaks as he's being challenged by the players. There's Dexter chiming in, Chopper as well, shutting down the offense here. In fact, it's gonna be a clean round for Team Spirit, not losing a single player and decimating the advance of Gambit Esports.
Rounds like those can be some of the most dangerous, especially with top teams like Gambit, saying that Spirit isn't, but certainly with Gambit having that #1 crown at the moment on the rankings, means that it's going to be very scary when they get that execute and get that space to get on the bomb site. But despite the bomb site being given up, Team Spirit are able to take down 3 and make sure not even a bomb plant goes down within that time. Looks like SCY is trying to lurk through Nest, deciding not to throw any utility to give up his position, being dedicated towards this Nest room. And just Shiro holding in case there's any connector peek coming on in. Enough space given to Napany to play around, just trying to hide behind these smokes and just find the right angle. Potential one way. Need to make sure to clear the right side of Nest. Sure no one is hiding there, and Dexter will decide to rotate back to Ticket, letting SDY worry about mid alone. It looks like they're trying to turn this into a cat play. The flash barely misses, so they know there's players crossing this way. Dexter barely misses the leg shot. Bit awkward to land. It's the only thing he can see there, especially while crouching, but Magic's now trying to handle the full push, getting mollied off and throwing the smoke deep. Has to jump on down. Not able to get the second, but it's a 3-on-4. Turned even until Mir is able to break it into the 3v2 and still hold map control, getting a second now. Last remaining player of Shiro's positions known, seen by the op of Dexter. Mir has to be careful to contact. Shiro able to find the first into the 1v2, but goes wide into Dexter as he's able to take him out, and Team Spirit up 9-4 on this first half. 2 rounds left remaining.
Yeah, you're right about it. Just the 2 more rounds remaining, and this could be the end for Gambit in the first half. I mean, the 4 rounds already is such a daunting scoreline for them. I mean, one of the great things about a squad like Na'Vi is, Na'Vi, it's Gambit. About a squad like Gambit is that they have a really solid defense. On any of the Counter-Strike maps we can talk about, Gambit also can perform really solid on that CT side. So there's still hope for a team like Gambit to bounce back on that second half, but yeah, this is the weird thing, that they seem to struggle against Team Spirit on the first half, where some of their individuals could also chime in with some really big plays, but yeah, Gambit right now making the purchase here. Not going to be the best purchase. You do get to see Shiro and the Scout of all weapons. Of course, the other players in the AKs, and Inter's going to go for some more utility here for Gambit. It looks like mid control is again on the agenda here for Gambit. We see the flash being deployed. Some Young alongside Mir. Again, the 2 players that been primarily focusing on the mid control, not the operator in the form of Dexter. He has some other issues. He has a task holding the A bomb site. But for Gambit, yeah, there we go. Some mid presence coming in here, and I did hear some clicking in the chat, so it does look like we might even have a round restart heading into this one. So no mid control here for Gambit, and a round being restarted.
Yeah, with that restore coming in, we'll have to wait a minute for the tech issue to get resolved. This is certainly an important round, so good to slow it down and reset it so things can be done in the cleanest fashion possible. This is important for Gambit to try to find this round followed up to get at least 5 to 6 before they go to that CT side. Need to be able to start off with just as strong as a dominance to be able to even up that score going into the second half. Wait for that match to get resumed. SDY and Mir, as we've seen so far, showing off a massive performance, 13 and 16 for each of them right now. So it looks like one of the players has to restart. With it, that AWP and AK being the main weapons kept on over, and as we can see now, Team Spirit have money easily for these last 2 rounds. 3 players now at 16k. Even though Gambit's gotten 4 and it doesn't seem too out of control, the money for Team Spirit certainly is.
2 more rounds remaining at the very first half here as well. And you can notice as well, the 2 players that have the most amount of frags on Team Spirit are the 2 players that have been playing middle. That's Mir, that's Sumda Young. These are the 2 players that have been potentially and most oftenly contesting the players of Gambit in middle. Going in for some solo peaks, for some strong double peaks, and Mir from connector, or pardon me, from short there with the combo of Sumda Young have been an impenetrable defense for Gambit to hit. Sure, there were a few good rounds where Gambit managed to run over the 2 players. Especially, I do remember one of those earlier rounds on the B bomb set where we had the majority of the Gambit players coming in from the B apartments, also from short. That was a very good setup from them, just completely annihilating Team Spirit's hold. But yeah, we haven't really seen too much of it, and this is also the one thing we have to stress is that this is the map pick of Gambit. The reason they picked this map is that they can punish a team like Spirit, who just don't have a good track record here in Mirage. I mean, they have a pretty bad track record the past 3 months, if I'm being honest. Of the 6 times they played it, they only won just the 1 matchup. So it did make a lot of sense for Gambit to try and pick this map, to try and punish Team Spirit for having such a weak map in the map pool. But as we'll notice right now, Gambit, this is not looking easy for them, that's for certain.
Yeah, the important thing to note as we still wait for this to get resolved is the fact that with Gambit being number 1 and having that skill, they might be able to do an even harder lockdown in comparison to Spirit once the sides swap, which might be interesting to see. A lot of matches on Mirage with slight advantages towards that T side due to the economical advantage, so seeing Spirit's adjustments and able to catch these picks early and safely and build up this economy brings us to a Mirage we're familiar with seeing in the past, despite all the major economy changes over the years, making it a lot more favorable for those Ts to break the CT economy. Wait, figure out more of what's going on. Be important to see them break that way, as mentioned, 5, or at least the 5-10 score line. More importantly, just maybe trying to wake a bit into it. Certainly with the loss of Navi yesterday of number 2, it would be awkward if they did the exact same.
Yeah, that would be a difficult scenario in all fairness, because then we would have 2 top teams at the 1-1 bracket. Of course, right now, this is the second Swiss round, so both Gambit and Spirit have won their initial best of 3s. Gambit managed to win against Akuma, and Spirit managed to win their best of 3 against Banca Pepsi. But yeah, you're talking about a very interesting scenario that there is the potential right now that we have 2 of the best teams here at the potential 1-1 bracket. Yeah, it just goes to show that right now here, the Epic League, no one's safe. Not even the best teams in the world. Of course, this is still just the very first map, so there is still the chance for Gambit to bounce back if necessary in the second half, and of course, that also second map of the best of three. But yeah, today we do have some interesting Counter-Strike lineup. This is just the very first best of three of the day. It is going to be Team Spirit versus Gambit. As we can already see, it's a banger. Team Spirit not going down without a fight. And of course, after this matchup is over, we're going to see Trident play against VP, another prominent team in the CIS region. I mean, right now, you can even just talk about how CIS Counter-Strike on the rise. And Team Spirit as well. The great phenomena about this rise of CIS talent is that, yes, it's great to see Navi as well, finally getting some consistency, winning themselves a Tier 1 event. And of course, Gambit being this new team, the #1 team in the world. And we also can talk about the success of VP as they managed to win Flashpoint Season 2. But as well, Spirit has been somewhat of an unsung hero, borderline top 10 team, also having some success, winning DreamHack January. I believe also finishing top 4 in Katowice. So this is also another team from the CIS region that is slowly but surely trying to climb the rankings.
And when you consider all that and how amazing all these CIS teams have been performing, it makes it even more dangerous considering we almost hasn't necessarily seen a major spotlight moment possibly for Spirit being under the radar, because we might be about to find it in this best of three as things progress. They've certainly had an excellent start now, having a dominant performance against Gambit on their T side of Mirage. It's important to see how that's been handled.
So yeah, this is going to be, looks like a bit of a tech issue here for one of the players here of Gambit. I do hope it's nothing serious. Of course, one of the great things here for Gambit that there's also been a very interesting talking point about Gambit Esports in general is that whenever they go into the big events, I believe they are always playing on a boot camp. So for example, if there's going to be a big event in the CS calendar, they're going to group up and they're just going to go to a boot camp. Now, I'm not so sure about this one, however. I'd like to say that right now for the Epic League, the players are not in the boot camp, but I'd have to find a confirmation on that one to be 100% precise with you folks. But yeah, Team Spirit, I mean, so far so good. Not a bad run of form here on the CT side of Mirage, which is, again, this is not the scoreline you're expecting if you're looking at this best of three and you see the first map coming up, a map in which Team Spirit just won it once against G2, interestingly enough, in the past 3 months. And Gambit, on the other hand, I mean, they've played it loads. They played against various teams. They played it against some of the best teams as well. So no wonder they decided to go for this map pick as well. And some of the best teams, not just in the world, but the best teams on Mirage as well. So yeah, for them, it does make a lot of sense to go for this map pick. But yeah, right now, some jitters. I guess you could say that. Some jitters here from Gambit, not having an easy run of form against a team like Spirit.
Yeah, and with all that, that might be important to note as well with that being the case, since it means they have a lot of data to reference and understand how Gambit are playing, with how Dexter's been able to counteract Gambit multiple times with some of these full buy rounds, might be indicative of a little bit of counter-stratting, at least being aware how he's set up multiple times, just set up towards the Palace Apartments, just staring at the exact same angle, not too stressed out, and just being able to hold down that B site with just the 2 players, even when it seemed like they were confident and aware that it was likely to be a B play coming on in. Seems like they're very aware of the executes and the style Gambit are trying to go for, whether it's on A and being able to catch out 3 of them to get enough space to go in fully for the retake before the bomb even goes down, and just have full control of what Gambit is trying to do and react in the perfect way every single time, aware of the moves they're trying to go for, forcing Gambit to use every single trick in the book that they currently have, or at least have shown on paper, to be able to get some rounds to break through with Team Spirit.
I mean, that's the thing as well. Just trying to remember what we saw throughout the entirety of this first half. We just haven't really seen a lot of post plants. In fact, barely any post-plant scenarios in which Gambit Esports get that bomb planted and say it's a 2v2 or maybe a 3 versus 3. Primarily, Team Spirit would dispatch of their opponents before they can even reach the site. And even if they did reach the site here, Gambit, they'd still lose the round without getting that bomb planted. So that's also one thing worth pointing out here, that Team Spirit have done an amazing job not even allowing Gambit to get in those post-plant scenarios. And of course, if Gambit do go to the post-plants, this is where the skill level of Gambit should shine. Not only that, it's the team cohesion that Gambit also has. And it's a shame, though, that we just really haven't seen a lot of post-plant scenarios. I do remember that I think it might have been the 4th round victory for Gambit, in which they had a really successful push on the B-bomb side. It was so good. Every single player securing a frag there in Team Spirit. Gambit eliminating the opposition, securing the bomb side, getting that bomb planted, and yeah, that was a pretty easy victory. That is for sure. But yeah, it looks like we're still going to be continuing on with some of the issues here on the side of Gambit. Again, I do hope it's nothing serious so that we can continue on with the matchup, because now things are getting really interesting. Things are getting really interesting right now because Team Spirit not giving up that easily. But I guess it was also somewhat expected that Team Spirit, being this borderline top 10 team in the world, that they would give a fight, even if it is a squad like Gambit.
Yeah, with that spot, looks like even Magic's starting to look around. Possibly the players on the team's just as confused. Looks like some more chat messages coming in. Not entirely sure what's going to happen next. But seems like the issue might be more severe. I don't have any information on what's going on this second, but might need to start getting worried about it. It's been a handful of minutes. Still no information. Worst case, just say it's 40% packet loss. Get things figured out. We have to wait for this final remaining player. Not entirely sure where he's at and what he's up to. Might not even be online. Have to hope if we can get some information on exactly what's going on.
Yeah, right now, folks, we're just waiting on some information of what exactly is going on here on the side of Gambit so that we could continue on with the matchup here, because still not really sure what's going on here with Hobbit. Is it his internet or perhaps some computer issues that need to be fixed here as soon as possible? But yeah, of course, this being the very first best of 3 of the day, Spirit versus Gambit. There's also going to be a second one in the form of VP versus Trident. Now, I don't think that matchup is going to be as interesting, say, as this one, but it's always nice to see a squad like VP playing something against the CIS opposition. Here as well, Trident. It's going to be an interesting roster to look at, because one of the players you can look at, and you already know the name, it's CIS. That is the one player you guys must have heard of in the past. But some of the other players on that roster, somewhat unknown, if I'm being honest.
But I believe we'll be able to cut it to breaks. We wait for more information and get this series continued.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky.
And there we're back
Right.
here, folks, for Mirage. There we go. We can see all the players. In fact, just the 4 players back in the server for this one, but looks like we're just going to continue on playing the way it is, as we have Gambit Esports Nafani here on the B-bomb side. A great position to hold. Now, he does need his teammates to get in position as quickly as possible. As we can see, Team Spirit, they might try to go for these engagements here. It is going to be the first one. Goes the way of Nafani. Great pickup on one. Gonna try to regress for more. These players will get caught out here by Magix. And now Gambit Esports committing to the bomb site here. Magix gets the frag here on Shiro, leaving it all up to Inters. A 1 versus 3 with just a Galil. Looks like he's gonna have to try and go for this one, but it's not looking easy. Magic's right around the corner though. Make the sound cue enters. That's fine. The first one goes for the lengthy Galil spray, but it's going to be a victory here for Team Spirit. The 10th has been picked up.
The Galil spray, a difficult thing to handle. However, with the technical issues, looks like Gambit's going to have to go major mode, having to play currently 4v5 for this match with the current issue. So that's how things are being handled. Double AK, double Galils. I would assume the bonus money for a disconnected or lost player is disabled, considering how the cash has been for them, at least right now. But it looks like they're already stuck in a 3-on-5, and we might be looking at an 11-4 half for the moment. Just waiting to go to the next score. And it's Magic's once again holding this apartment's angle. Holding it a bit differently, more towards the bench rather than the same typical angle he's been using most of the half. Still going to be hard for them to find much to do as they swing on out. He finds the first and has enough time to reset. Shearer just trying to hold this angle for the repeat. Can even see the barrel was off, but gets flashbang from Mir to help him out, so Magic's can get that additional frag, leaving Enters alone. And Magic's even set up aggressively to close it out, if not for Mir almost jumping into the apartments for a second before allowing Magic's to hold the sight line and the bomb alongside with it.
This best of one, it just got, well, busted free, but the first map of the best of three, it just got a hold on awkward. I mean, by the looks of things, Hobbit, he's having some electricity issues and won't be able to join for the very first map. So Gambit Esports will try to finish this one in a 4 versus 5. And so even for the best team in the world, trying to win a 4 versus 5 against a borderline top 10 team in the world, I don't know if it's going to work out here for Gambit. I'd say this is probably the L for them, especially this first half. It's going to be 11-4. And for Team Spirit, this is such a great scoreline. And consider this, Gambit will have to play with 4 players on the CT side against 5 of Team Spirit's. That is going to be almost mission impossible, even for the best team in the world.
I think see him waiting for time out there. The plan might be just hoping any second things might come back, just trying to stall for as much time as possible. This thing's been covered, considering waited for a timeout at the end. Certainly no way he's going to win the 1v5. And just like on the round where they had 2 save, trying to go for the most pragmatic approach possible with the situation. With that being the case, looks like we'll be waiting for the half swap or maybe more time to wait, but looks like he's been able to return.
Nice.
Won't be before the half is covered, but still with that, there's going to be enough time to be able to come back into things.
Yeah, that's that's at least the one good thing here for Gambit. Hobbit actually reconnects. So it is going to be a 5 versus 5, but again, just look at the scoreline right now. It is 11-4, still in favor of Team Spirit. So it's great to see that Gambit finally get all 5 players to contest Team Spirit. But this first map is just not looking good for them. The second half, though, could be the redemption arc for Gambit. One of the great things here for Gambit, or in general, is that they are a very capable team playing defensively on the CT side. Some really good frags can be found due to their individuals just having an insane skill level. And so this is perhaps the one way they can bounce back. They do get a good start here in the second half. But yeah, this has been somewhat of a unexpected showing here from Team Spirit. I mean, Mira and Sumda Young doing a tremendous job there in middle. Single-handedly, the 2 players just shutting down the Gambit offense in the mid plays, barely allowing them to even reach the bomb sites. I mean, if I'm being honest, this is a strong Team Spirit, at least here at the very first map of the best of 3.
Considering Gambit were only able to get 1 round there after building off of the pistol win.
Yeah.
At the beginning, just means Team Spirit had a perfect defense nearly the entire way through once they got their weaponry up and running. So with that being the case, it's just going to be important for them to be able to perform the exact same way going on to CT. When we see the swap come on over, this pistol round will probably be the most important thing to be able to start and build up that economy early, as that's the one advantage that Spirit didn't have going into that amazing CT side.
All right, Gambit Esports, CT side of Mirage. This is where they're gonna have to focus on hitting their shots. Could see an early push here from Team Spirit. 4 players close by the A-bomb site. Chopper with the 1 smoke and the flashbangs to work with. He's gonna try to chuck it in and allow the Hail Mary play. There we go. Smoke being deployed. Flash as well. Hobbit holding the angle, waiting for more players to appear. But it's Dexter. It's Some Die Young. Good frags here for Team Spirit. They're going to continue on with the advancement. There are a few guys in CT spawn. Some Die Young deals the damage. But Nafani, great response though. A great pickup here for Gambit Esports of 3 versus 3. But also notice that the bomb's planted in an open position. So for Team Spirit, they get that bomb planted and they back away to safety. As for Magic still, P250 is so precise. Gets the frag in Afani and doesn't even have to peek anymore. Enters an Axel. Need to get as close as possible to try and find these players, but it's not going to be easy. Axel does recover the kit here, but 3 players to find. It's just going to be way too much, even for Axel. That will be the victory for Team Spirit. A simple push on the A-bomb site works out wonders.
Yeah, only having that kit accessible to them. Looks like the smoke got thrown far into ramp and possibly too soon to be able to judge. And with it, an interesting, potentially dangerous decision. Gambit going for the force here. If they don't convert this successfully, could be a very quick first map for us. This Team Spirit might be able to punish Gambit in a very quick and easy first map win.
Oh my, oh my. Gambit Esports, they really had to win that pistol round. Right now, things are just going to be so difficult from here on out. Forced by, of course. If there's one round you can still count on Gambit, it's when they rock the Deagles. And, well, we also get to see the Max 7 being bought up as well in the ladder room. Could cause a lot of havoc. But as you can also see, Team Spirit, very careful in their approach. Even the mid players not going for any connector presence or short control just yet. Just making sure there's no advanced plays here from Gambit. And players from Gambit themselves are playing somewhat of a slow Counter-Strike. Not going for any aggressive plays, but there we go. Team Spirit, there's the window smoke. There's also a smoke there for top connector, and Shiro could be the first point of contact as the players from Team Spirit are getting dangerously close towards the bomb site. A bit of a wall bang coming through. Mirror, great knowledge, gets the frag on 1. Hobbit, great pickup on Chopper, but now Gambit Esports, they know what's going on. They need to get those frags, and Nafani is not one of them. That's gonna be Team Spirit once again taking over the A-bomb side, getting that bomb planted. But enters though, great shot here in Mirror, but it's not gonna win the round. It will be Team Spirit with another victory.
Looks like they're able to get that victory as well. The Mag 7 unfortunately not working out there. Could have had an opportunity at least, considering was able to get into connector for that retake with 2 players close nearby. So unfortunately was only able to bring 1 down, sub 20 HP. And with that, they're forced on an eco and have to give Team Spirit 14 due to that. On this next full buy, they'll be challenged against 15 and possibly a full loss streak. But Hobbit's been able to get 1 at least to start. Have to get a lot more from that first. Time progresses and they spend a little bit of time to resetting, even the bomb already exiting from that position. Looks like there's an interesting gap for SDY to look through Palace with and safely have a decent bit of cover on the angle. Magic's with a very specific, tight look. Just waiting for a peek from Triple, but willing to go for more information. Trying to be careful he doesn't get caught out here. Chopper finding the first for him. Looks like they're starting to go towards this A site now with clearing the positions out one by one, leaving exiled alone towards CT and Ticket. Having to deal with all 4 Ts, and SDY will quickly take him out. And now we have a very scary, difficult situation for Gambit to come back from for this first map, or be down a map already in a full best of 3.
Oh boy, oh boy. 4 rounds here for Gambit. This is definitely not a fully strengthened Gambit. Struggling a team like Spirit to pick up even double digits here is a really surprising scenario. Something we did not expect to see before jumping into that best of 3, or at the very least the first map of it. You do see some aggression coming in though. We have Fonny alongside his buddy in the form of Axel. That is a nice Molotov deployed though. Oh, he's gonna get caught out here by Magix. Great little early frag for Team Spirit and Magix. He's gonna continue on with the advanced play, holding up position and connector. Some really good positioning for Spirit.
Yeah, and with that, they already have that man advantage going to what could be the most important round of this first map. Hobbit needs to get this. We'll be able to find it onto Magix, bringing it back into a more reasonable 4-on-4. But there's another 3 creeping towards ramp. Hobbit's about to have to worry about trying to play carefully around the smoke. Could get caught out with the wrong timing. Able to get one at the bomb with SDY, making it a 3-on-3 as he's traded. And an important play, Shiro towards CT with his AWP. Need to be very careful with when he takes this engagement. Not entirely sure if they do have the information about him, with all these players trying to rotate through mid. And Dexter's peeking from above, so sees the head of Shiro. Even though he doesn't necessarily get eliminated just yet, he's known and getting pressured by Chopper. Can only have a bit more to run, but they're able to use that space, focusing so hard on this offer to catch the players in the side. And with that, taking him out and allowing Gambit to get their 5th and their single chance for redemption on Mirage.
Yeah, that's going to be some breathing room here for Gambit. It's not a lot, though, as the scoreline is quite daunting. 14-5. That will require a very lengthy comeback here from Gambit, but it's a start here in the second half. And right now, Team Spirit going to go for their reinvestment here. It's all over the place. It's a few AKs, a few Galils as well. That has to be expected as the money is just all over the place. Dexter holding that dig in the middle. Not really going to see anyone from the side of Gambit. They're playing this one somewhat safe, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some advanced maneuvers. There was a smoke grenade thrown out there for short, so Axel has taken a more aggressive position, but now returns in the ladder room. In fact, this is quite a heavy mid setup here from Gambit, putting even a few players there in short.
Noticing the 2 players stacked up in ladder rooms, an interesting mix-up, and it looks like that's going to be most of their main mid presence, actually. Being willing to give it up entirely, just a sandwich player and one rotating late to CT of Shiro. Just letting there be 2 players around this cat area, slightly repositioned to hold down from the site itself. But usually you don't see this double setup. Interesting banked nade with Axel running back might set them to believe the ladder position's clear, but it looks like it's getting cleared out anyways, and it's rewarded with Magix being able to find that first pick, and a rifle potentially be picked up by Team Spirit. And what should be a weaker round for them, with only 3 rifles in play, now turned into 4. Be up to enters with his first contact, able to take the first, focus more towards the apps players, getting instantly denied with the trade from SDY, making it a 2v4 against 15. Not much for him to do here, and already Team Spirit have found this key 15th. Besides miracles, Hobbit's trying to find some room, but likely just some exits and potentially an upgrade at this point is about all they can obtain.
Yeah, this is just not going to go the way of Gambit. The 2 remaining players will just back away from this one and save the weapons. But even so, once Gambit had the players holding the B-bomb site, as we saw, it still wasn't enough for them to secure the victory. Team Spirit just chug along, fully hitting the bomb site, and no problems for them. Gambit Esports, this is turning out to be a very underwhelming first map. Luckily for them, this is still a best of 3. So they may have failed on their own map pick, but we still have the second map at play. That's going to be Dust 2. It is going to be the map pick here of Team Spirit, and they have had a good run of form on it. But it's not like Gambit are strangers to the map of Dust 2. They themselves have played it a fair few amount. Fair enough. Last time around, they played it, the few times they played it, in fact, was in DreamHack Masters. And yeah, they managed to defeat teams like Fiend and G2. They did end up losing twice against Na'Vi. But it's still, though, a favorable map here for Gambit. And, well, this one's not over just yet. Axel, great way to kick things off.
And with that, we get set up into a 5v4 situation, something Gambit needs to be able to obtain consistently to be able to get a better chance at getting these rounds. A quick response, 3 players towards A now, and just trying to worry about multiple positions, trying to creep up aggressively on A while not getting caught out on mid. Definitely focused with the A1, just holding passive from CT. Got a double stack setup of Exile and Enters with that M4 MP9 combo right outside the B's apartment drop at the doors. Exile jumping for info, trying to bait, possibly, to make them not believe that Enters is on this bench position. And we'll have to see how this defense works as they're creeping on this way. And the smoke is a bit too late. It's enough for SDY to work with. Looks like the nade's going down deep, still able to hold. And Enders is just going forward with the spray and has to, only able to find one, as Exile's also taken out. Nathany's able to take down Magic's, making it a 3-on-2 situation. But they do have control of the site. Chopper able to stick the bomb down. Mir needs to hold this off. Almost getting caught out. Nathany trying to figure out how to safely adjust. And looks like setting up Chopper on the boost off angle. And a nice nade onto Mir, bringing him down to 30 now. Making him far more vulnerable to these rifles. Far more reliable 2-shot for both of these players. To take them out and slowly trying to surround them, clear it out. But Chopper's been able to find the first. He's stuck in this position, has to drop down, and with it, taking down Hobbit and getting the 3 in a row to close us out 16-5 for the first map and take for the first win for the series.
Yeah, what an absolute sick round coming in there from Spirit as well. We see that late boost coming in as well. And then from there on out, double peaks and double peaks. What a great performance here from Spirit, managing to snatch away that very first map of the best of 3. And that's the thing as well. This is just the first map of the best of 3. If it has delivered on such a high level, I just really wonder what's going to happen on Dust 2. So guys, stay tuned for that second map as we're going to be jumping into Dust 2.
There are only a few seconds to close this round. A headshot. Nice. Fist bumps go to the teammates.
I wanna hear your go, go, go. Make them feel your smashing blow. Win the round. Rise to fame. Hold the ground.
Pretty much. They play, you win.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the sky.
just barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world
frustration out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind.
Welcome back, everyone, to our second map of the best of three. It's a new battlefield in the form of Dust 2 Team Spirit. Great first victory on the first map, but now Gambit Esports, they're ready to make sure this second map does not go the way of Mirage.
Yeah, it'll be Dust 2 to start it. And with them starting on CT side this time around, could be dangerous if they end up faltering. A lot of times can Dust 2 be a very streaky, dominant map for the T side, and it might start to go that way with Dexter getting the first pick for this pistol, taking out Hobbit. With that being the case, pressure will start to build, but not necessarily too much map control. They've gotten long for free. Haven't done any work towards Catwalk, but they're just leaning 3 towards this B site, meaning Axel might have to worry about all of Team Spirit starting to run his direction, just trying to hide behind the long box and stall. But with that flashbang, he knows they're going to be coming in. Has to land multiple shots here, able to find one, but that's all he'll be able to grab and pick up. Shiro now towards CT as Chopper's already holding the flank for any rotating players. Won't be able to take any of them down, making it even 3-on-3. Situation becomes a little bit better for this retake, though still very dangerous. Nafany needs to take this first contact in a very exposed position. Just crouching his way through and just holding pressure on the angle, letting Enters come in from the side. Find the first, not able to take Mir down just yet. Mirror Magics find one each, meaning Enters is left in this 1v2, getting tagged up with the Gush, and Magic's taking him down, and Team Spirit able to take the first round on our second map.
A nice round coming in from Team Spirit, but we also saw some aggression there from Gambit Esports early on. Nafani takes the aggressive angle there in lower tunnels. Thought he might even go get some early kills his way, but that just was not the case. He ends up leaving his position, and Dexter eliminates a player that had been short. So great early round here from Team Spirit, managing to secure the pistol round going their way. On the back of this as well, we can see some of the players of Team Spirit fighting for some long control early on here. They have the better weapons to do so, so it does make sense though. Nafany, oh, I think I might have spotted out someone like Mir, or at least anticipating a player like Mir in this position. And you can see Mir as being very careful though, as there is the potential push from Nafany. The other players of Team Spirit, full concentration in long.
Yeah, with things being starting to slow down, but they have both scouts here. Not able to find that early contact, wrapping behind the smoke. Magic's able to find one. Dexter able to take down Axile. Magic's the only one getting tagged. An excellent transfer to flick and carefully take down Hobbit. Shiro only able to find one. And with that, Enters is the last one remaining, with even a fake coming in just in case if this last player gets caught out. But it's Enters just to try to save that armor and deagle, so his team at least has something to work with in the next round, as Team Spirit are guaranteed to get their second and have a great start to the second map after winning Mirage in a very dominant fashion.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. We witnessed Mirage played out, and Gambit Esports, it just didn't look like they stand a chance against Team Spirit. Team Spirit just looked so much better. Their holds on the CT side, impeccable. They ended up losing, I think, just maybe the one gun round in all fairness, because Gambit Esports, yes, they got themselves the early 3-0 start, but from there on out, it's been the Team Spirit show, and they successfully close it out 16-5. Very convincing scoreline. Now we're here on Dust 2, the map pick here of Team Spirit. Now, of course, Team Spirit, they have a pretty good track record here on a map like this too, being able to win against some high-level opposition, that's for certain. But in their case as well, recently they haven't really had to play against, truly tough opponents. It's been squads like Bank of Pepsi, Extra Soul, the Mega, and whatnot. I mean, they still have that amazing victory against Astralis, 16-1 on those two as well. Yeah. In the case of Gambit Esports, they've definitely played also a fair amount of this too, but again, against this lower caliber opposition. And here, this round, pretty easy here for Team Spirit. As they walk on the B-bomb site, no one can stand a chance.
And Enter's able to win the one single individual duel with the top mid player of Dexter. Has a weapon to potentially steal away on the save this time around. Maybe just the scout, but still an upgrade, something that can be handed over to a teammate if they can't get anything better. So Shiro is set up with the AWP, not necessarily sure of how much use it will be, unless another player tries to engage him. So we can see, besides Chopper going for some information around the same area, giving it up and just letting the save come on through. And that might be something worthy to note. Gambit undeniable with their #1 position, barely losing to Navi recently, but despite that showing that they're on the top of their game. But as soon as you end up in a different tournament a bit later, and it's with these CIS teams, everyone from the same region, everyone wants to prove themselves, show that they can beat the best, and this becomes the most dangerous matches to have to go against. Likely putting the most pressure against Gambit, as they have nothing, as Team Spirit have necessarily nothing to lose in this scenario and everything to gain. Pressure not necessarily on their shoulders, while for Gambit it feels like a must-win for them.
It also comes down to that Gambit is the #1 team in the world, and they should be winning fights against Team Spirit. And that's exactly what we're talking about right now, because it's not like one team or the other will be eliminated from the Swiss stage. It's that's pride, and pride is so important. As we can see right now, Team Spirit going for the push on the B-bomb side. Dexter manages to find the one. Some guy Young chimes in as well. It's Nafani to take the hit, and that will be the B-bomb side exploited by Team Spirit. Great early pick here in middle from Chopper. And you can see the round is coming to an end here. Team Spirit, another successful hit on the B-bomb side. Chiro, last man standing, gonna try to save the big green.
As you can see, that was such an amazing execute coming into play. Just slowly creeping up, carefully using their utility to keep up the pressure, getting that CT control isolated so there's nothing that could be done but just spray through the smoke. Being able to throw flashbangs to get info of Napany being up next to the window position and isolating the duel with his teammate and taking them out, picking them apart so they can get away with this first full buy win and keep up this dominance. Shiro trying to save, but even then setting up the perfect trade scenario for Magix to deny that AWP and keep up this 4-0 start, accumulating tons of money and giving us a similar situation to the start of Mirage, except in Team Spirit's favor rather than Gambit.
Yeah, Team Spirit, this is looking so solid right now. Yeah, they managed to win the first few rounds. Winning the pistol does grant you much easier road to the first free. But the gun round as well. A sick victory from Team Spirit, and of course here Gambit Esports, not much of a response. Just a simple eco here with some of the players investing in the armors as well as the pistols. Axel with the scout, holding lower tunnels, hoping some sort of advancement here from Team Spirit, but the only push we can see is in fact long. No one from the side of Gambit overlooking this position except for Lonesome Shiro. He's holding it with the Deagle right now, waiting for the players to cross, and Magix so quick on the trigger. Magix again with another one. You also get to see Axel somehow hitting a shot on Mir. But for Team Spirit, it's a good round. They managed to push their way through long, attack the A-bomb site, and now secure a bomb plant as well.
Hell yeah. And with that being the case, 3-on-3 situation. Notice my brain went elsewhere for half a second. Makes it a 2v2 situation. Dexter having to take this first contact with the op. Chopper with the AK, and Dexter being able to swap over in time and peek aggressively into the gaps through the smoke to take them down with that being the case, able to cleanly take it now 5-0, keeping up the exact same pace. Things are not slowing down for Team Spirit. Gambit calling another timeout, not able to adjust, players struggling to perform at the moment. Possibly just having another off day, or not another, but rather just an off day. Unfortunate to see the similar thing happen just after Navi's lost yesterday, the exact same thing to happen to Gambit. See with the pair match odds, Spirit favored 1.28 to a 345 for Gambit, despite the historical record and amazing performance from Gambit recently. After yesterday's match, everyone is likely echoing the same mindset, feeling that there's some curse for these top teams in CIS at the moment, thinking they're going to lose against their local opposition right after their excellent recent performances.
Of course, here as well, Gambit, full-on investment. This is the best purchase we've seen from Gambit. AWP in the hands of Shiro could find some success, as he is positioning himself towards the A-bomb side. As Team Spirit looked early on, they might want to contest for B, but now they're looking for options as well towards the mid area, or perhaps even towards short. Still loads of time for Team Spirit to work at a whole minute and 20 seconds. There is always the potential for some mid plays to take place, or at least just show off some presence. That smoke grenade, of course, will allow them to cross safely onto short. Not going to get spotted out by Hobbit, but odds are if that smoke is thrown out, you're Gambit Esports, you're going to expect someone at short, but they still don't have anyone overlooking the short position. This could be a massive oversight.
Yeah, this is definitely a good adjustment overall. Even though Saysite's a little bit more vulnerable, as long as it's carefully handled using Shiro to go for the retake, but instead they're going towards B, which is why they did this setup to adjust, have 3 on this B site, so they're well prepared, as CT is always going to be smoked off, and they don't have any way to comfortably adjust at the moment. Throwing a flashbang in the tunnels to even aggressively peek for it, and Enters has the information as well as an off angle, standing on top of the stone pillar, just holding for a window push, but instead of the smoke fading soon, might be able to see a player through the gap. Enters trying to carefully crouch, seeing heads, knows there's tons of players right behind these double doors. Has to worry about people from multiple directions, but looks like they're just jumping through the window. Enters and Nafny able to tune in together to get 2. Hobbit following with a 3rd. Nafny with a fast response, and SCY the last remaining, taken out by the nade from Nafny, and Gambit able to get their first round on the board with 2 surviving.
Such a sick setup from Gambit as well. Works out so well for them. Beautiful. Love to see it as well, that nade coming in from Nafati. But yeah, Team Spirit finally being forced at a halt. Gambit Esports successfully hold on the B bomb site, fend off the incoming advancement there from Team Spirit, and also they left quite a little time for themselves to commit on the B bomb side. Oh, Shiro tries to go for the early pick, doesn't get it here on Chopper. As for Team Spirit, that is long control once again. They have their players pushing out here from the longhouse. So long control absolutely on the agenda, though they have to be incredibly careful because now they know there's going to be Shiro on the other side.
See, this time they've automatically adjusted. They're willing to go more aggressive. Now having that tunnels control, might even be able to catch the back of Near as Nafny pushes forward. And with that, that's a massive pick, as well as with that tunnels control, forcing Team Spirit into a scary situation. Looks like they're being forced to push through long, and they already have 3 players set up, wrapped around short in the site to hold from this take. Shiro trying to take that first contact as Axile as counter utility, focused on holding that smoke. Waiting for info on that cross as smoke grenades to allow that cross comes on out. Axile quickly throws that smoke to give himself cover to play around. Getting pre-fired a bit, down to 34, but still able to win the duel in SDY. Chopper to get the response through the smoke, but it's still a 2v4 brought into 1 as Chopper's taken down through the smoke from Shiro, and Dexter's left all alone. Deep inside long. On the side, Cubby will drop down to the pit. Just waiting for any engagement. Able to see the shoulder peek and able to get the flick onto Hobbit. Might give him an opening, but still only 20 seconds remaining, and Enters going aggressive for this duel. And awkwardly tagging him straight through the corner of the car. Reducing Enders to 3 HP, but miraculously keeping his life as Gambit get their second.
Even a stronger hold from Gambit this time around. At least there in the B bomb side, things get somewhat messy. Perhaps there's still a chance for Team Spirit to bounce back, but in this round, they get absolutely destroyed here by Gambit. A beautiful hold from their part. Team Spirit right now, very early on, consider taking the timeout because now they fear the Beast may have woken up. So they will take the tactical timeout here. Of course, this upcoming round, barely any money on the side of Team Spirit, so that is going to be a loss for them. And for Team Spirit right now, they have the best chance, I'd say, to potentially win the best of 3 by securing this second map, because if we do go on the third, I'd say for Team Spirit, it's going to be a lot more difficult to secure the victory. Luckily for them, I mean, they already have one of those maps in the bag in the form of Mirage, but still, this is Gambit we're talking about, the #1 team in the world. And so you need to be very careful of your Team Spirit. Great showing on the first, but I'd say the party is starting on the second.
I appreciate the fact that they did grab a couple of weapons, trying to use their economy carefully, able to keep Dexter at enough cash, trying to make sure he can get that AWP in the next. But make sure not to invest nothing when possible. Have a Deagle and a Scout to work with to potentially give those openings. Gives a very tight window for these opportunities, but if SDY can catch out Hobbit with this M4, that's going to be an open A site as they're playing around this B stack. Gambling that they'll take the eco that direction, which might end up being the case here. And with Shiro holding that tight angle with the AWP and Nafany already set up for more players to take the engagement, might even be able to catch the Scout player running away as the flashbang comes on out. Able to dodge the shots, but won't be able to find a punish pick on the rotation out. Trying to chuck a nade for more harassment, but they all want to go into A. Run boost coming out, but nothing to be seen. Hobbit holding close on Goose. Just waiting for him to swing into his angle, but it'll be Axile to take that first contact. Hobbit suddenly comes in from the side. Nafany and Hobbit to tune in with 3 taken out. Gambit with their third as well. Able to take away a couple of weapons that they still have stolen from the previous and gather a little bit of cash going to this next full buy.
Yeah, some cash for sure, and just enough cash to get Dexter on the AWP. That's the one thing we really wanted to see here from Team Spirit. Finally, that AWP purchase coming through. There is, of course, once again, Team Spirit with the early long take. Hobbit doing some damage here in some Young. Of course, a lot of utility expelled from both sides. The Molotovs, the smoke grenades as well being deployed, but it's also Dexter securing the frag here. Enters very early on here. We do see Team Spirit securing a big scalp on the side of Gambit.
Yeah, with things seeming to reset, they're a man down. They're taking the risk of not necessarily having long control, which might work out for them as they see one crossing T-spawn. The gun sticking out above the wall, not able to connect the shot, but the information might be enough. Enough so that Chopper's rotating long to make sure no one tries to flank them from that direction. Aware that they might be getting red right now. Axile has to stay dedicated on A, but Hobbit could be fast on this rotation as Shiro's holding the deep B bomb site angle, and Nafany's willing to go aggressive, take the risk, catching Dexter on the side. Perfect timing, but now leaves Shiro in a 1v3 as Hobbit staying locked down at mid. Has to take that first contact on the peak. SDY getting caught the second he moves away from the shot, and the 5-7 from Shiro with the HE is able to take him out, and Shiro's holding the site on his own, even waiting for the shot to get baited out, and Hobbit pushing through mid instead, making it a 3-on-1, and Chopper getting perfectly timing, getting distracted from the running steps of Shiro to allow Hobbit to re-peek back and get him in the rear. And with that, Gambit are suddenly about to even up the scoreline after this round and have a decent comeback and a possibility to even get a lead on the CT side.
Yeah, and we can finally see the players of Gambit Esports coming alive. It took them a while, you know, an entire map of Counter-Strike, and here, the first half of Dust 2, they're looking a lot more solid. CT side, there we go, Shiro. Great performance on the B side, holding it by his lonesome. So many players to face, but it is, of course, Shiro we're talking about. Unbelievable performance from him. And you can see right now, Team Spirit, even having the advantage, still not closing it out. You can see that this fight here in Dust 2 is going to be a lot more close. I'll give you that one for sure. Shiro. Great little frag here, Dexter. As you're going to see the players of Team Spirit, I mean, not really finding any success right now. They have invested in some utility, but that has not been used thus far. I was hoping for a potential mid-split. That's one of the great things you can do here as a T-side on a bit of an eco. The mid-split comes in, maybe you catch someone in CT, or perhaps you might even catch someone playing close by middle. But yeah, nowadays you're not going to be seeing anyone holding close by middle, so your best bet if you're Team Spirit would be to persevere the B bomb site, but not in this case though. 3 players up in short.
Yeah, looks like they're feeling pressure to just try to go for a short take, just trying to get away with getting the bomb planted, as that short plant can be very safe to get away with. It'll be hard to see, but they're able to flash the upper off the angle initially. Mir having the drop down, bomb going down. SCY has the space to get onto the site. Not sure if he can safely get away with this plant, though. Has to take one down and have Nafany get the trade onto him. Bomb plant denied, but buy will still come in with plenty of cash to spare for Team Spirit. So it's a full buy all around. A little bit of money built up for Gambit, but something that can be easily broken if Team Spirit stop Gambit's streak right here in round number 11.
This is where, yeah, you're right about it. Team Spirit, you gotta put their foot down because Gambit Esports are looking so strong these past few rounds. And there we go, a bit of a change of pace. Team Spirit very quickly up short. We have seen the long takes very early on. We've had some really good spawns as well, but we haven't seen the short take from Team Spirit, at least not so early in the first round here. Well, we're going to see Nafany being boosted up close by the short position. Can hide in that smoke grenade, a very powerful spot, but it might just be able to see Magix. There we go, could see the first fight as well, and it will be Magix to come out on top. Great early frag here for Team Spirit.
Yeah, able to get that first initial pick will give Team Spirit something to work with to finally break this streak. And able to get that round number 6 and keep that lead at least, only letting the score get close to a tie. Have to see, as with Hobbit very close in his door position, if he finds the right second to go aggressive, might find an opening. You're the last player focused on holding mid, except for the fact that Chopper's just rotating in top. So as they throw this execute utility, Chopper even gives up the angle to go through long. And that might be leaving mid open for right behind him. He up to Axile, getting mollied off of the site angle, having to peek over from above. Situation, and Hobbit able to find a double from below, and Axile will be able to follow up from the side. Hobbit with this flank behind will almost take down the entire initial push. That lovely double spray transfer from Axile to finish it off. Chopper's able to get some revenge on Hobbit, but that will be all as he's forced to save. Going into the next round, Gambit with a very quick response, and due to that mid control not being held as they go in for that cat execute, Hobbit having a free opening to sandwich Team Spirit into that catwalk cross going into that A site and have them fall apart so Gambit can get their lead 6-5.
Yeah, a sick round as well here from Gambit Esports. A beautiful hold on the A-bomb side. Hobbit doing a tremendous job there below as well, finding the 2 frags. Team Spirit, though, not the best purchase coming in. They're going to be lacking in utility. So we could see somewhat of a faster play as we see 3 players descending down the lower tunnels. Could go for the early mid push, and Chopper. Great frag here on Nafany. We're going to see the remaining members of Team Spirit heading in the mid direction. No one holding CT spawn. In fact, Team Spirit could have very easily just sneak past through the players on the B bomb site. But that's not going to happen. They're going to group up and go towards short.
They understand it was entirely this flank from the last round mid, the entire reason it fell apart. Now Shiro's left in an awkward exposed position, just has to jump down and give us the angle. Able to punish Mir going for the engagement, but now has to worry about all the players above him. So left to do a 3-on-4. Being a little bit more confident this time. Dexter trying to hold behind so they don't get flanked and spanked like before. That being the case, Dexter just holding the stairs. Sure, they win this engagement. Dexter able to trade and get the double onto Enders and Hobbit, holding Cat single-handedly, and just Shiro to run away, holding the lower tunnels. Might have been seen as he was jumping or heard by Dexter. Since Shiro's aware of this possibility, just trying to hold this angle. It's engaged with the wide swing, might be able to still take him out, but it's nothing more than just this AWP to be saved going into round number 13. Team Spirit to immediately respond with a similar execute, allowing it to work out for them this time around and keep the scoreline even 6-6.
And some great mobility from Team Spirit in this round. Of course, props to Chopper as well. Finding the early frag and long, that really changes up the playbook for Team Spirit, because it did look like the members just want to try to go towards mid. But the fact that Chopper finds that frag on long gives the remaining players of Team Spirit the hope they can this time penetrate the A side defense. It works out perfectly for them. A great round here for Team Spirit. So now they're back with another reinvestment. Of course, Dexter and the AWP will have to look for some of those openings elsewhere. It looks like he's out here in middle so quick. Gets the frag and Shiro. That's one massive player out of the equation.
Interesting smoke from Dexter to keep things isolating these B players, concerned that they'll try to peek from CT to take these engagements onto the A site, forcing Axel to be tempted to head towards Goose, trying to smoke off so he can cross that angle safely. Instead going aggressive, almost finding the double transfer, won't be able to connect the second, and it's up to Enters to try to rotate CT as his team might go for this retake despite the 3-on-4 situation. Bomb going down, setting up a flash for Long and his teammate, and Nafany's able to find an opening early. HE isn't able to connect. Magic's able to still hold on with 7 HP, but Enters keeps spamming more players down through the smoke, and able to find the opening on Chopper. The gap, Dexter's able to land the no-scope through it, and using the smoke as a one-way, Magic's able to catch Hobbit from the side, and Nafany's forced to save and give Spirit the lead once again. Trying to do the best they can to exit, though it looks like he's being a little bit hungry and trying to go for them as they exit here. Catching the head of Magic's. Looks like we soon have a pause with freeze time after. Not able to take down Dexter, but the bomb certainly will do the job for him. No one surviving as we go into this Team Spirit timeout.
Whew. And that round as well, that's when the gamer sweat comes pouring out the pores of Team Spirit, because they take over the A bomb site. That's great and all, but free players on the site itself, they have no breathing room in that round. And so it just comes down to their individuals hitting their shots, and that's exactly what Team Spirit does. A great round from them. Even when things are looking dire and you're thinking, yeah, this is probably Gambit Esports just running away with this one, but still not enough for Gambit to secure the victory, even when their opponents are in a really difficult predicament. So great stuff here for Team Spirit, and Gambit Esports not going to go for an eco. It will be a reinvestment on round number 14. Could have potentially gone for a simple eco here, and on the last round of half, they'd have loads of money. But I guess they're also aware that Team Spirit's economy is not in the best position. So if they win this round, they're going to break Team Spirit. That's exactly what they're looking forward to, but that's not going to happen. Dexter and Mir, great 2 frags early on here. Team Spirit have so much control right now. They already have a player pushing out a longhouse. He can have the intel right there. Though there's the re-aggression here from a player like Axel. Looks like we might even see an aggressive play here from the likes of Shiro potentially. Oh, Axel, he's going to try to go for this. Looking for the fight here up short. Gets the one, but Dexter, quick reply.
Not able to get the trade to follow it up and make it a double to balance out the fact of how much damage those MP9s did early on, even though tragically not able to find the frags. Missing a few key bullets to be able to close out those kills, and with that being the case, Shiro's left in a 1v4 situation. Both sides under their control, SDY with contact, knowing where this last player is. We're gonna smoke to bait him out, and even winning the duel, even though it's all alone as the bomb goes down on this A bomb site. Looks like Team Spirit set up to win with a 9-6 half as they go towards their CT side in the second.
Yeah, the half victory, at the very least, in the hands of Team Spirit, but they can even extend the scoreline with a 9-6, just like you said. And Gambit Esports, yeah, this sucks for them. They're gonna reinvest, and it's again back to some of those pistols, the MP9 here, and Shiro with the Scout. This is not looking good unless you're Shiro on the other side. Beautiful shot here, and Dexter definitely gives some confidence for his teammates after hitting a shot like that. Probably Gambit Esports are thinking, you know what? We can still win, even with the pistols, even with the MP9 here for Hobbit, and of course, Shiro and the Scout.
All it takes is a couple of deagles with how long and open the angles are. The only weapon that might be a little bit more difficult to use effectively will be that MP9. But even then still, if Hobbit finds that perfect timing to flank behind them once again, might be able to catch the flank on A on this cat push. Punishing them once again. As Shiro's set up with the Scout, there's a deep hold with Axile with the single deagle towards the back end of Dust 2's long tunnels. Oh boy. But it looks like the execute's just now coming in. Shiro to try to take that first engagement. Keeps getting flashed off the angles. So they try to get that sight control, but able to land the head flick, only seeing the top of Mir's dome and eliminating it. Trying to stick the bomb. Chopper getting pushed off the plant with these jump scout plays. And it'll be enough for Hobbit to be able to catch them exposed. And now Magic's left with 14. And it's the Molly to finish it off with a bunch of hopping deagles to leave Team Spirit and Chaos and Gambit to take it away and make it 7-8 going into the halftime swap.
Yeah, at least the 7th round goes the way of Gambit on the back of a force buy. Not having a lot of options there, Gambit. Of course, they're going to reinvest, and there was just pistols and whatnot, but that was apparently enough against the likes of Team Spirit. And of course, it's an almost even first half. An 8-7 scoreline, both teams having some great run of forms. But here in the second half as well, I expect it to be as close as possible. These two teams not necessarily having a tremendous CT side or a tremendous T side in Dust 2. Just seems to be somewhat even for both of these teams. And just like the scoreline shows us, this could really be a close affair. Gambit Esports, though, early on, short control coming in. We have Inters up and long. Some damage here from Chopper. Good damage, in fact. And Team Spirit, they're setting up for the retake. They know what's going on. Gambit Esports, they have full control of the bomb site. The bomb is going to get planted. But Team Spirit, is it going to be a 5-man setup? Yeah, 5 players coming in from short. This is going to get deadly. This is going to get crazy. Team Spirit have all the players from the same angle. Nafani, great pickup here on Magic's. More players getting close. Mir gets his Inters with a response. Still looking good here for Team Spirit, but Hobbit holding his ground goes down to Mir. Axel will get his Inters with the response. It's a 1v1 right now. Dexter looking for the frag, and he will find it on Inters. What a great round here from Team Spirit. Look like it's going to be a difficult retake, but the 5v4 retake on the A-bomb side works out for Spirit in the end.
And it plays off so well, the fact that Dexter was able to preemptively capture that kit from his down teammate and use it while going for these duels, rather than having to try to find it after. It might be the only reason they won the round, to be able to get off that defuse to begin with. But even then, still, with that bomb plant coming in, things are far from over. Gambit fully equipped with 3 Galils and an AK to deal with, as well as a Scout. Shiro lands some more insane shots, could be a problem as well. Already able to use those rifles to tag Magic's down to 7 and cause some more pressure, but looks like Chopper's willing to go very aggressive for information here. Not sure how far he'll end up pushing up. But the more info he gets, the better the chance for Team Spirit to take away the round. Especially if they can catch this home player. Hobbit able to get caught out just last second. And getting caught from the side. Mir able to get the trade. And with that, all of Gambit trying to run to the site. But there's no cross smokes, and Dexter's is able to catch one out. And with it, Mir carefully bursting that rest of the M4 mag to take down a third. And now it's a 4v2 brought into 4v1. Mir absolutely tearing apart and even jumping for the shot, bringing Inters down to 3, and an MP9 from Magic's will be enough with the mid-air to land a single bullet to finish it off. And Team Spirit now up to double digits, up 10-7. and able to keep this lead very soon on in the second half.
Team Spirit still keep it on with the lead here. Gambit Esports, the purchase is not going to get them much, but here as well, it's probably your standard run-of-the-mill deco. Get those decals out. Get yourself some armor as well if you want. But on the side of Gambit Esports, yeah, this is, again, not looking too good for them. For Team Spirit, though, that's great. They managed to win, the pistol in the previous one. The second round is, at times, even more important than the pistol round win, because you may never know what to expect from that investment, from those pistols. They can definitely cause a lot of havoc. But on the side of Spirit, they managed to maintain the chaos. And this round as well should be quite an easy one for Team Spirit. But even so, need to be careful here. Dexter up in middle. Lands the first frag on Nafani. Already you can see he's backing away all the way back. Expecting even more players to pop out from the double doors. But as we can see from our perspective, that's not happening from Gambit.
Everything's going well, potentially, at least for Spirit. It'll be important for Dexter not to get caught off. He's been performing very well in this series, but needs to make sure he keeps it up. And the second Hobbit shoulder peeks, he catches it. Misses the second shot, but that's where Chopper gets his own participation, able to take down two, as Dexter will finish off the last remaining player with a perfect A-site hold with just those two individuals alone. Team Spirit able to deny that round from Gambit with the Deagles and just have to respond to this full buy, keeping up this lead with 4 rounds apart, up 11-7, keeping on the pressure on Gambit that they have to come back into this. Team Spirit effectively 5 rounds away from 2-0ing Gambit.
Oh my, Team Spirit right now looking pretty solid in those first few rounds of the second half, but this is where things get spicy. This is the gun round from Gambit Esports. Loads of money as well. Shiro on the AWP. One thing you always love to see here on the side of Gambit. We'll see as well some potential control coming in here from Gambit early on towards long, but even so, they consider to back away from that position. Not going to fight it. Team Spirit will absolutely hold it. Dexter, though, AWP in hand. Quite the common angle as well. We'll see the Molotov being deployed to flush Dexter out of position. That will be a counter Molotov to slow down the advancement from Gambit Esports. But as the Molotov begins to whizzle out, there's Hobbit. But it doesn't see anyone from Team Spirit.
Good initial jump strafe, but I'm not sure if Dexter will be distracted with the trying to get the flying strafe shot. They do another run boost setup. That'll be the question, at least with that smoke. Looks like that's exactly what they're looking for, a possible boost through the smoke on the gap. But seeing the spam shots come through, it's keeping him pressured to stay deep in this goose position, which could end up being awkward, stuck with the AWP in play. Be up to Chopper to try to help protect him after Dexter finds that first on Nafany, but he's already been taken out. Now he has to deal with 2, able to get the second, but not able to follow up with that op. But things become a little bit more problematic as Magix has taken top mid control, catching Shiro in the back. And now it's a 2v2 retake situation with one of the players on the B bomb site.
That's the problem. This gunfight, it matters so much. Hobbit wins it. If he ends up losing it, that's suddenly a much more winnable chance for Team Spirit, for Magix. If he wins this fight, he's not going to be aware. Now he is aware of Inter's positioning. It's still a difficult 1 versus 2. No kit for Magix. Does win the fight against Inters. Now knows the positioning of Hobbit. And that will be plenty of time for Magix to secure the victory. And the clutch here for Team Spirit. There's going to be just enough time, I believe.
There isn't. Gambit have been able to steal one away by barely a second. And with that only 3 rounds apart now, looks like a match pause coming in. And with that single situation, even though they were able to steal one away with the defuse kit, with that pistol round, they won't be so fortunate in the same situation on this full buy. Still have plenty of cash to be able to get another one on in. It'll be up to Gambit having high pressure. They may have won the round, but with no one surviving, they're going to have to weaken up a little bit with a handful of Galils to work with for this round.
Yeah, Gambit Esports, even though they're the victors of that previous round, the money situation is pretty awful for them. Not going to have a lot of utility to work with. Chopper needs to be incredibly careful. There are already players in the pit, and that's one engagement you don't want to take, even if you're a player with the AUG. Magic's though, headshot engagement here, wins it against Shiro, but Shiro still gets the frag here on Dexter. Yeah, long control coming in here for Gambit. A quick push on the A-bomb site, working out wonders for them.
So entranced on the short control. And Axel with the slurk going for the knife! Taking down Mir, getting some bonus money along the way. That's actually genuinely needed with the fact of how many Galils they've been stuck with us for this round. The very quick reaction to just not throw any smokes and just cross with how focused Team Spirit were on the catwalk is a very important move to make, but looks like Axai will be caught alone. Has only the M4A1, so won't be anything Team Spirit will consider picking up. But Gambit able to get their 9th and start to even the scoreline and maybe come to even it up and maybe start a comeback in the series.
Gambit Esports playing some fast CS in the previous round, and as we can see, it works out perfectly for them. They go out for the long take. They have Shiro coming in from short. Of course, Shiro ends up dying, but at the same time, the players of Team Spirit so focused on a guy like Shiro that they neglect the A-bomb site. They neglect long, and Gambit Esports masterfully take control of it. Still, on the side of Team Spirit, there's going to be a few rifles remaining. One in the hands of Someday Young. Get a one here for Chopper. But the other players, it's a full-on eco for them. Gambit Esports have a really good chance to secure double digits. Shouldn't be too difficult, though Chopper could cause a bit of a ruckus with that AUG of his. And luckily for him, he ends up missing the jump there, because otherwise that nade would have done massive damage on him.
Yeah, landing the jump, but the USP a bit too far inside for him to effectively get the peak. And on top of that, being seen as he goes for that peak to try to take that engagement means all those nades will catch punishes. Though Chopper will still be able to find one to start this round off. They're aware of the possibility that they're trying to creep up A. Chopper's not able to find a second. Nade almost taking down Hobbit, still alive with 1 HP. And STY has to try to handle with a full push from every single direction, including behind him. Too many angles to worry about, and Magix might be able to get away with this hog. You're able to catch one by surprise of Exile, pick up that AK, and they now have an opportunity to go for this retake if they're interested. But they don't know these HP values, so might be forced to just save anyways, even though they have a fair chance this round, especially after Mir gets tagged by that AWP.
Yeah, it's just going to be the safest maneuver for Team Spirit. Save the 2 remaining weapons. They're going to come in handy in the next round, that's for certain. But for Gambit Esports, there we go, once again favoring the A-bomb site and successfully taking control of it. We haven't really seen a lot of B takes from Gambit Esports just yet. It's still early days in the second half, so I'll give him that. But I really want to see some potential B plays there from Gambit Esports as well, because right now the A plays, even though they do go their way, something tells me Team Spirit is going to change things up, potentially even have Dexter overlooking long as early as possible to make sure Gambit Esports, if they want to have any players pop out along house, they'd have some difficulties to work with. But at least in this round, Gambit Esports don't have a good spawn for the long take, so doubt if we're going to see a fast long take from them. Maybe one in the mid round or perhaps a late one, but definitely not an early one.
Yeah, I think one important thing to note is Team Spirit might not be too stressed, as even though the scoreline's getting slowly evened on up now as the rounds progress, they are barely losing these rounds, maybe 1 duel, 2 in some situations, so they totally have a chance in this every single round. But at this time will be up to SCY, tested alone, won't be able to find one. That's a B site already lost. And looks like Mir will try to find a contact, but looks like they're already set up to be forced to save in this round and let Gambit get this equal 11 scoreline. Sponson able to find that opening pick. Team Spirit caught off guard with their setup, unable to adjust in the situation. And Gambit able to equal it up 11-11.
Just as I was saying as well, Gambit Esports changing it up, having the players go B instead of A, and not much of a response here from Team Spirit. Lonesome Sumdar Young just gets overwhelmed, and he had no backup to help him hold the site. So that's a great pickup here for Gambit Esports. A very simple round from their perspective, but a massive victory as well. Team Spirit, luckily for them, they might just be able to save all four rifles. So it's if the loss didn't even occur. So we get to see someone like Chopper on loads of money. So you could potentially even drop a AWP here in the hands of Dexter. And by the looks of things, that should be the case. Yep, there we go. AWP has been deployed.
With that, they'll be well and equipped, starting to get some cash collected together. Team Spirit able to keep those 4 alive, toss a rifle, and stay strong together. Very important. Gambit wanted to go for those exits and tried to deny the economy so Team Spirit can stop working with the same buy situation. But the flashbangs will work out and force Dexter not to be able to peek into Shiro. Be able to win the duel. With it, they have a similar setup. 3 trying to play around this A side. Mid and B the most exposed. Chopper trying to play more aggressively, at least close towards the stairs. Hobbit does the smoke so they can get some catwalk control. Cross safely. That Molly, quickly enacted, will deny it. Make them have to figure out how to adjust or at the least wait. Especially with Mur positioned so aggressively forward. And Chopper even willing to go for this engagement. The flashbang will be clearly visible, but still work out. And the second flashbang is even better, allowing them to take Gambit apart. All 4 players caught out through mid with multiple flashbangs set up together. With that, Axile's left alone in a 1v5. And the round Team Spirit was hoping for, trying to keep these weapons for, finally breaks through for them as they're able to get their 12th. And once again, barely maintain the lead against Gambit on the CT side of Dust 2 going to round 24.
What a great round from Team Spirit as well. The aggression comes in. We only get to see the perspective of the one player, but you look at the kill feed and all the players of Gambit Esports going down in middle and short. Some nice flashbang usage coming in, as well as some good communication from Team Spirit, coordination that allows them to secure the victory. Gambit Esports, though, early on, some control in the tunnels. No early aggression on the B-bomb side. Even if it would come, this time Team Spirit is ready. They have 2 players, one in the form of Mir, the other one in the form of Sumda Young if this push commences. And also as well, Gambit Esports gonna shift their focus towards the A-bomb side by the looks of things, or at the very least just control short presence. Team Spirit putting a bit more emphasis on the bomb sites themselves, having those 2 players in the B-bomb side, 2 players in the A-bomb side, and of course we also have Magix and Long, but no one overlooking middle from Team Spirit.
Yeah, and with that, though that mid's exposed, it's because these 2 players are hard locked in on this B site together, trying to strengthen it up and just use these rifles grouped up together. Magix alone on Long might be a bit dangerous, but otherwise, it's enough to give pressure and be set up perfectly for this A split they're going to try to come in for. And with it, Magic's even willing to creep up. Angle could be pre-fired here, but he's still willing to hold it anyways. As these cross-smokes and Cat get prepared for him to go for this initial take. Dexter's getting burnt out and needs Chopper to help him out. He has the space to work with, able to peek out. No gaps through the smoke initially found, but Magix is able to at least deal with this A push on the side, getting both players, making it a 4-on-3. Site may potentially be lost and a plant being able to be found. Shiro trying to hunt for that frag, able to find one, but Chopper able to use the rest of the mag to find the trade, make it a 3-on-2. Be up to Nafani to get some early impact here and win that engagement, but Chopper is undefeatable in this position. Getting tagged down in the back 2, brought down to 2, and still taking the engagement against Hobbit. Brought down now to 48. And it looks like the plan for Hobbit is to just save and give up the site. Not going to try to get this round, but be willing to just give Team Spirit their 13th. Knowing it'll take a miracle to get away with it. And just be sure that he gets that rifle to hand over to one of his teammates into this next round.
Chopper as well, so smart. He knows that his teammates are really far back, so he needs to hold that ramp position for as long as possible. The fact that he gets the kill on Shiro and on the other player as well, it just cements the victory for Team Spirit. It's great to see that he was able to hold on for as long as possible, and there's also been a pretty big odds shift if every match our bookmaker believes that is the case. That Team Spirit looking very solid here in the second map, potential victors as well. As right now, Gambit Esports on the brink of losing not just the second map, but the best of 3 as a whole. This round is really important for them, and it's not a good start. It's Mir who finds the frag here, Nafani. Great way to kick things off if you're Team Spirit, but for Gambit, they lose short control and they lose an important player.
And with that early pick, Mir having massive amounts of impact once again, as he has throughout this tournament so far, leaving Nafani taken out. Shiro's tagged with the scout, brought down to 19. Team Spirit in a very strong position to get their 14th now. Have to take a miracle, and with Magic's just going for the contact information to throw Molly. And I think the little shutter step from Hobbit was heard as Magic's has adjusted and thrown the Molly. But trying to cross back on top of the catwalk wall at just the wrong second as Hobbit runs through the smoke. Gets taken out and brings it to an even 4-on-4. And Chopper is basically left alone as Dexter is smoked off from these CT angles. The flashbang to help him out will take them off of that engagement. Chopper has to be careful as he has to worry about an AWP in play too. Able to position around it perfectly. So even though he's an op staring down him this entire time, or the scout rather, he's still able to find at least one. That said, he'll eventually be caught and taken out, so it'll be just Dexter and Mir left alive. Best situation for them would be to save, though it looks like they're waiting and spending a second to think about it. But after hearing that smoke thrown on the catwalk, that'll be enough to make this too difficult for them to go with. With that, they'll just try to save these 2 rifles to go into the next round. Though Team Spirit are certainly set up for the win and a possible 2-0. Gambit are right behind them and can get us to a 3rd map.
Chopper as well, just like his buddy beforehand, he tries to hold on the A-bomb site for as long as possible. This time though, he knows the pressure's coming from the long area. He knows there's also some sniper rifle player holding on that position, and plus the advancing forces will try to eliminate him as quickly as possible, and yet Chopper holds his ground, even gets 1 frag with the AUG while he's being on what? Below 10 HP. That's so sick. But yeah, 12-13, Gambit Esports get another round on the board. But for Team Spirit, yeah, they're going to put their foot down. Double up setup it is. One in the hands of Dexter, the other one in the hands of Sum Young. So they have 2 AWPs on 2 different parts of the map. Sum Young holding it towards the tunnels. Not even going to go back plat. Just going to look towards the tunnels. Maybe perhaps the box would be the better angle. But this is going to be dangerous here for Gambit if they want to commit towards, say, the B site. They will have to face the Opera, but right now, luckily for them, only 1 player holding middle. That's going to be Chopper with the AUG.
That might not end up being too much of a concern, as Chopper's willing to be very aggressive on this angle. And on top of it, the other 2 players are locked down in a very strong choke point on this B site. Chopper's even set up for this off angle, holding on these back boost boxes, trying to catch the player off guard. But Napani's prepared for it somehow. Barely survives with 2 HP, but still wins the duel. And with that, that causes enough chaos that it's a 2-2 split. It'll be all up to Dexter and Magix to try to hold this A site. Meanwhile, both these players trying to rotate out. And this lurk from Nafani trying to get info on this B site. Means that SCY has to show his presence here, hopefully winning the duel as well. And with Nafi winning that, they're going to quickly rotate, knowing that they've controlled this B site. So it's a 4-on-3. Suddenly, Team Spirit are already set up for the save. Snafney with just 2 HP is able to take down the Opera of SDY and force them to just hide in this pit and wait as this bomb's planted and hope they respect them and let them save these 3 rifles into the next round to have another chance of keeping this lead once again.
Yeah, that round, that wasn't even a lurk coming in from Nafani. I think he knew there was still 1 player on the B bomb site, and he was hoping to potentially find that frag. And well, that is unbelievable that he wins it out with just the Galil on that 1 player. I guess he was hoping that he might just have his back turned, and for Nafani to get that frag, that changes up that round completely for Gambit. Then they just pursue the B-side commitment. Even the players from Team Spirit, once they realize Sum Young dies so quickly on the site, they're going to make the full-on rotation away from the A-bombs to try to save those weapons. So Nafani, absolutely amazing playing that round. moves in the B-bomb side, gets that frag, and changes up the round completely in favor of Gambit. Right now, the good thing for Team Spirit is that at least they still have some money in the bank. Luckily for them, they had some consecutive rounds going their way, so it's still going to be enough to reinvest here. Of course, no double op setup, but as we saw right now, the one AWP just still wasn't enough to deal with Lonesome Nafani. So maybe this is for the better to just have that AWP in the hands of Dexter.
The most important thing will be the impact of both of these oppers. The fact that Mirror and Dexter are playing close to smoke will be important, but meanwhile, Long's been successfully held by Magic's able to take down Exile rather. And with that, and Chopper is able to take down Nafani on Catwalk, and Gambit are just giving them 1v1 duels. So they already have a two-man advantage. Trying to throw smoke so they have a gap across. But Enters doesn't jump and already brought down to 23. Nade will finish him off, and another one directly lands on Hobbit, bringing him down to 56. And this round's basically already over. Team Spirit prepared to get 14. And Gambit should be able to get a bye in the next, but this game's going close and close, and Team Spirit barely holding on to this lead. But all they need to do is close this map out with a win, and it won't matter as it's a 2-0 for them to continue on in this early stages of the tournament.
Team Spirit right now on the brink of securing 14 rounds. That is a lot against, well, none other than Gambit, the #1 team in the world. And right now, Gambit, I mean, just, 30 seconds remaining. You can see they don't want to be part of this round any longer. They just hope they can save their weapons for the next, because Team Spirit, what a great round coming in as well. All 5 players surviving. That gives them a bit of a breathing room, so to speak. Even if they end up losing, say, the upcoming round, they'd still have enough money to reinvest. But if you're Gambit Esports, this is where things are just getting dicey. Really dicey, in fact. A 14-13 scoreline for your opposition, and I wouldn't be too surprised if right now with so much pressure mounting for both teams, we might begin to see some timeouts at play, to have those tactical discussions for either team, really. Even for a squad like Team Spirit, who are in the lead, they know how important it is to take those next few rounds, to make sure they can close things out 2-0, secure that victory against Gambit, to make sure we don't go to the third map.
With that, we got a very mixed buy, at least when it comes to the rifles. Not anything weak, but a wide variety of an M4, AUG, and 2 AKs. Still a very strong setup. Chopper trying to take this initial engagement on Long with Magic's as they swing on out. And with this fight, Axile is able to take down Magic's, but Chopper will be able to burn Nafani down. But Axile isn't slowing down anytime soon, even before the initial long smoke blooms to give some space. Able to take down Magic's with Chopper. With this being the case, SDY with Dexter trying to creep on up for this retake, knowing that they're probably dedicating Long. If they get a flashbang set up to take this engagement, could catch them out. But instead, it's Dexter just waiting to fire. And SD trying to boost up SDY, which is caught out by Shiro. And now it's a 2v4. Gambit to keep it even, 14-14, besides a Miracle coming out. I don't believe will be coming anytime soon. We're waiting as the first shots are denied, barely missing Shiro's dome. And with that, it's left to Dexter, left to save. Quick hunt, Shiro trying to already start it. Will be denied the first. Hobbit will be the next to try to find some contact with him, make sure this op is not saved. These conserved weapons have been a lifeline for Team Spirit as Gambit have been continuing the streak. It's going to be nothing they want more than to end it, and Dexter will deny it. Just building up his frags on the scoreboard, and with how low this money is on Gambit, this might leave them punished with all the money still left over on Spirit to be able to get better weapons and leave it to a very awkward situation if they lose any more, as Dexter's successfully able to stop the pushes from Gambit and save this AWP into round 29.
This is as close as possible between the two teams, neck and neck, 14-14. Like I said earlier, the one good thing for Team Spirit is that they still have money. So money is not an issue for them. They can fully invest in this one. which would be quite satisfying if they end up losing the previous round and they'd be screwed in terms of money, but that is not the case. Loads of money. Utility is going to be looking strong for Team Spirit. But yeah, this is where things are getting super exciting right now. Both teams have got a really good chance to try and potentially close out the second map. Of course, the implications are massive here for Team Spirit if they can secure the victory 2-0 against Gambit. But we'll have to wait and see. Magic's feeling some pressure there, mounting towards the long position. Flashbang's coming in. He, of course, is not holding Longhouse, but now is expecting the Gambit players to be in that position. And we also see the mid push here from Team Spirit, from short and from double doors. And they're not going to see anyone apart from potentially Shiro in T-spawn. He sees the aggressive play in middle, and that could prompt the players in long to move in.
They know A is going to be weaker off. They're trying to rotate quickly through Cat, at least one more. Magic's getting that early info that they're all grouping up towards long. But besides that, it's Mir stuck behind that smoke. Dexter getting isolated. One of these CT smokes for Magic's to hold behind. But able to use it as a very strong one-way and give that cover. Navani tries to push through that CT smoke, gets caught off. Hobbit the first one to find one, but Enters gets taken out meanwhile. And Hobbit gets taken out by Magic's as well, leaving Shiro in a 1v4. Everyone peeking him together. Magic's to find the frag, and Team Spirit first to get to 15. And little money left for Gambit. Not an impossible round to bring it to overtime, but a very scary one considering they'll lose 2-0 to Team Spirit if this happens. Going down 1-1, I believe, just like Navi did yesterday.
Oh no, this is so dissatisfying right now for Gambit. Potential loss in the best of 3 against Team Spirit. And the purchase they have to work with is so lackluster. Just some pistols. They at least have the utility and the AK-47 here in the hands of Shiro. This will require some heroics here from Gambit, but so far, so good for Team Spirit. It's Mir who finds the opener. None of the players from Gambit will try and challenge him. That is not a good start here for Gambit whatsoever.
Yeah, and with that pace, always mention all it takes is one player to upset the balance and get these opportunities, but completely unsure on how it will end up. Waiting to find out what that next move is. They're trying to creep up Shiro with the Soul AK, but the issue is they have the same 2 players, Chopper and Dexter, set up together to hold for this push. Dexter can align and adjust the flick. The molly will keep these players split. Dexter not able to land this first flick, but Chopper is far and prepared. Doesn't connect the first spray. Barely doesn't connect the second either on Enters, but Mir helping out Dexter to get these players isolated and eliminated. Axile and Shiro, the last 2 remaining. Axile trying to hold mid from the back and a flank. And Shiro's not able to take anyone down yet until just now, catching Dexter, making it a 2-on-3 situation. Just fighting for this tournament life to bring it into OT. Axile finds another, and Shiro follows it up with a second, and now Magic's left in a 1v2. Can be anyone's game. Barely holding on. If Magic can get this kill, can deny and get the clutch, and he finds it! Gambit are going to get denied. Team Spirit to get the 2-0 miracle and get a very close upset on Gambit with Dust 2 with a solid 2-0 for first series of the day. Quickly.
An unbelievable round coming in there. Team Spirit, what a play to finish it off. And of course, nice attempt there from Shiro, because it looked like he might just be able to pull it off there with the victory. But yeah, it ends up being the case that even Shiro's heroics cannot save the day. And so it is a victory here for Team Spirit, 2-0 for them. Another upset, another day here at the Epic League. And the action is just starting here, folks. This was still just the very first best of 3 of the day. We will have our second best of 3 as well, but it is going to be a bit of a break here, folks. So we're going to go to a break, and we'll be sure to bring you that second best of 3.
There are only a few seconds to close this round. A headshot, nice. Fist bumps go to the teammates.
but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah, take you like a pill.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels